Hey, Encore Society. Jim is back. Wanted to say, hope you all are having a great week. And I wanted to ask you a question. Are you charging enough? The other side of that question is, are you charging too much? Talking about coaching, courses, programs, cohorts, doesn't matter what it is that you're charging for. I'll be writing a couple articles about around pricing and helping people understand how they should price their products, their services, their paid substacks, whether it be the first level or the top level. So there'll be a lot going into these products, and I want to teach. We'll teach a little bit about the pricing because the biggest challenge people face is they think they're looking for a number when they're coaching someone, when they're offering a paid something to somebody. And it's really not the offer. That's not really what the concern is. It's not the number. What you really need to go back to, and the big thing that I'm constantly preaching, I mean, like the foundation of every single part of your business is your offer. And it's not that you know what the offer is, because a lot of people think they know what an offer is. In fact, I worked with several people who had clear offers, were doing live events on a weekly basis. They were succeeding, earning six figures a year. But when they finally understood the value of what they were really delivering, their whole perspective changed. Their marketing changed, their mindset changed, their comfort level asking for 3, 4, 5, 10 times the value of what they were previously charging, because they realized the value they're offering. So it's not the price. It's not anything to do with your price tag. It's everything to do with the value. Now, discovering your value is, in your mind, sometimes very clear because you know what it is that you're offering. But it's the communication of that value to someone else. And it doesn't always, sometimes it's on paper, sometimes you're doing a sales letter, but often one of the best ways to help you learn how to value what it is that you're selling or what you're offering is to be speaking with people. That's by far the easiest way to start to understand and to understand the words that people are using when they're communicating with you, so that you can use their words to help them. Again, sometimes when we have a little bit of an education, we tend to speak or think in terms that we understand, but the rest of the world doesn't. For instance, I have a degree in physiology, exercise physiology. And Tracy, I'll get to that question in just a second. And hey, Patrick. Hey, Tracy. Welcome. I have a degree in exercise physiology. When I first got out of college, I ran a personal training business and I ran a couple of martial arts schools at the same time. And I was growing those businesses. My tendency when I got out of school was I had a tendency to use more medical terms to describe the human body. And it wasn't intentional. It was just I had been speaking that way for multiple years, especially when I started working with grad students in college. I was doing research for them. I would always have to be speaking in the medical side. So I forget when I'm talking to someone else. Something as simple as your upper arm is a lot easier for some people to understand, the front of your upper arm, than to say your bicep. So those are the kind of things, just as an example, to be aware of when you're talking to people. Sometimes people will give you the words and it's like, oh yeah, it hurts right here, but they don't know what that is. Well, that's their bicep. Well, you know that, but they don't know the name for it. So sometimes you have to be able to explain it to people. I'm giving you a physiological example so you can see it, but let me dive into the value side of this now a little bit more. So Tracy asks, do you think the price needs to equate to the result they get? That's an interesting question based on, I'm not actually talking to Tracy right now. So I'm betting she's not asking it the way I'm going to present it at first. Should the price equate to the result they get? I'm going to say yes, generically, but no, your price should be about a lot less than the result they get. And again, I bet that's not what I understand what Tracy's saying. So bear with me for a second. I typically help sales. I've helped a lot of sales teams. That one coach I was telling you about who was making six figures, she ended up growing to $7 and $8 million a year. Okay, so if I charged her the result I got, I could have easily charged her eventually up to like $7 million a year because I eventually was her sales coach. So I could have been charging her 7 million because that's the result I got her. I could, but what I typically try to offer people when you're offering coaching, and I know Tracy a little bit. I had an opportunity to speak with her today. It was awesome getting to know her group. And for what we do, Tracy, and for what many of us coaches do, we typically offer something like, and you don't have to make these claims, but as an example, if I can help you make $100,000 a year, would it be worth $10,000 a year for you to learn how to do this? Well, yeah. So therefore, it's a 10-to-1 ratio. When you have an ROI, when you have see there, and there's this terminology. See, that's a terminology that I don't want to use. A return on investment. So if someone invests $10,000 with me and they get to work with me for a year and I teach them how to build their offer and how to write copy and how to do videos and how to all these other things that they could be doing to help them grow their business and earn an extra $100,000. Well, then, yeah, for every $1 they put in, it's worth $10 out. But see, that's a return on investment that's easier to understand. The big challenge is helping people understand the value when it's not a money for money translation. For instance, if you're losing what people, I used to be in personal training. I have a son who teaches, who is now also he's an online personal trainer. The value of what he helps people with is like he helps a lot of executives. He helps busy executives, typically guys who are working a lot of hours, don't want to spend a lot of hours in the gym. So one of the things that he offers people is how to get into the gym and how in and out of the gym within less than 2 hours a week and not follow these crazy diets. Well, that's the offer. That's the beginning of the offer. But when he communicates the value of this to people and people say, well, I want to lose 20 pounds. I want to lose my gut. I want to be able to go to the beach this summer and have a six pack. Not to drink six pack, the six pack abs. The value isn't really to help them get the six pack. You have to ask more and more questions so that they understand the real value of what they really want. Why do they want to have a six pack? Why do they want to lose 20 pounds? So you ask them questions like, this is where, and I've brought this up in other conversations, you typically have to keep asking, which means. Well, once you lose the 20 pounds, what's that mean? Well, I'll look better, which means what? Well, I'll have a six pack, which means what? Which means I won't be afraid to take my shirt off at the beach. Oh, well, is that a challenge? Is that a concern for you? If you're like right now that you wouldn't do that? No, I wouldn't do it because, okay, well, what's that mean? You can take your shirt off. Well, I get a tan and I can feel better about myself. And you keep asking the which means questions and you start to find out from the client, again, their words. Because, and a lot of these guys will say, I'm saying guys, by the way, this is male, he trains males and females, but this happened when I was training people too. It really comes down to, well, what do you really want? Well, a lot of the guys that I was training back 30, 40 years ago, it was because they were going through a divorce and they wanted to be attractive to the opposite sex. So it wasn't that they wanted to just lose 20 pounds. It's that they wanted to be able to take the shirt off at the beach and possibly have, again, attractive to the opposite sex, to be able to possibly build a relationship with someone. There's a lot more that goes into it. So I would use their words. I would start to figure out what they want, and that would help them understand what I offer. I wasn't offering training and fitness and nutrition advice, and my son doesn't do that either. He offers what's the emotional value of what you're providing. So again, that's the price versus the equate to the result. Well, the result is much higher than just attracting. So it doesn't just stop at the look attractive for the opposite sex. What's the next step of that? Well, possibly have a long-term relationship. And then what? Eventually you get to the point of married, kids, secure, feel easier. I have a strong relationship. Be able to have kids. I'll be able to feel better at work. There's so much more that goes into it than that typical losing 20 pounds or getting a six pack. That's where the price comes in. That's where the value comes, because you're delivering, typically the coaches that I've worked with, most normal coaches are delivering a tremendous amount of value, or at least they think they are. That's the intent. Y'all will find out from me, I will expose a lot of people who have good intentions, but they're gurus that have never actually done anything, or they're really only into this for the sales. They don't really care about your results. In fact, they give you unreasonable expectations and expect you to achieve the results that they said they can help you achieve. For instance, you're not going to pay $10,000. And again, this is sometimes, if you all have been around long enough, you'll start to understand who some of the people I'm talking about. I won't mention names. You're not going to get into a program if you don't know what your offer is, you don't know what your niche is, you've never done a presentation before, you've never done a high ticket sale before. You don't hire the high ticket guru who's going to tell you in 10 weeks, if you give me $12,000, or no, it was $10,000 for 12 weeks, and they're going to teach you how to create an offer, do the presentation, build a webinar or presentation, and then learn how to sell high ticket, and you've never sold anything before. And you're going to do it all in 12 weeks. Oh, by the way, you got to also learn how to do Facebook ads. And so it means you got to learn how to do copy. You have to learn how to use Facebook ads. So you have to do all of this stuff in 12 weeks. Is it worth $10,000? It is absolutely worth $10,000 if you already know a strong offer that you've been selling, you've already got a webinar going, and you've run Facebook ads before. So if you want to fine tune it and make it work better and maybe double or triple your price, that program was absolutely worth it. Did 99% of the people, 98% of the people who joined those coaching programs have any capability of finishing that in 12 weeks? No, because the value's just not there. The value's there if you're already experienced. The problem with the salespeople that I used to work with and the companies that ran them, and this is why I had to keep leaving companies, you can't sell that program to someone if they're never going to make it. They're never going to get through this. The coaches who ran those kind of businesses didn't care, because at the end of 12 weeks, if you want to keep going, you're getting so close. You've almost got your Facebook ads converting. Now just upgrade to $25,000 and you can work with us for a whole year. And then we'll have this going on autopilot for you. And it sounds really good. So they keep upselling you, and it's great for the coaching bank account, but not necessarily for you, because you're stressed out of your mind. You've spent $35,000 and you still haven't converted a person yet, because you don't have the offer, you don't have the Facebook ads down, you don't have the presentation, and you've never sold before. Why would you expect to be a professional salesperson offering $5,000 and $10,000 packages if you've never sold anything before and you're afraid you're going to be scared? That's normal. So when it comes to pricing, is what I'm getting back to. Yeah, Tracy just mentioned in the live. Yeah, exactly. They don't mention the ads and the selling. Yeah, and that's the part. The selling part is what I typically coach people for years. I worked with a group in Australia, 750 people in the group. The group was in Australia. The people were all over the world. 750 people in the group, mostly women, about 95% women. And sales was not in most of their wheelhouses. They had never done it before. And I was the sales coach for the company. In fact, that was the person I taught when she was at six figures, her and her husband, how to grow. So they brought me in to teach people how to sell. I can tell you right now that most of my best clients, often the ones who were committed, stuck with it, but they went through a lot of calls, sometimes 30 and 40 calls with no sales. And they thought they were doing all the right things, and they were teaching, they had the scripts, they had everything that could help them with, that the course helped them with too. But it really comes down to, just like anything else, you have to have a little bit of practice, a little bit of experience. You have to stick with it. And that's where most people don't succeed. They have prices too high because the guru, for those of you who don't know, I have a tendency to say guru instead of guru, because I think these people goof people up more than help them. The guru will tell you, sell this for $5,000. Well, this person needs to learn the psychology and feel comfortable and sell it at 1,000 first, and sell 3 of them at 1,000 and then move it up. It's more important for the client to learn what to do the right way than it is for the guru to have you finish their course and upsell you. That's where the challenges come. So because of that, there's been so much brainwashing about the term high ticket. I say this on a regular basis. I was selling high ticket before it was ever called high ticket. I mean, I was doing that in the 90s. I didn't know it was high ticket. You sell martial arts. I mean, back then I was running martial arts schools, and you sell a $5,000 package, and now that's considered high ticket. Now you get online. I didn't understand why. I thought, I mean, I've sold things at like $30,000 and $50,000, 50 some thousand dollars plus in a 90-minute sales call, from cold to 90 minutes. That sounded more like high ticket to me, but in this world, people have been brainwashed into believing everything over $2,000 is high ticket, and they think they need to start there. No, you don't. The one thing I like about Substack, and that we're on right now, that I'm filming this live, Substack has sort of put people into like when you get in there, they sort of tell you, give you good guidance and put a number in front of you. Well, here's your free membership, or your paid membership, you're like $5 a month or $10 a month, or you can do a yearly discount, whatever. So they sort of help bring people's mindset down a little to a more impulsive buy, which allows more people to invest in you because it's so inexpensive. And I'll give you a great example. I just invested with Tracy. I went straight to her founders level because it's, one, I can see the value. Two, I can see us doing some collaborations in the future. But three, if she would have done what I have a tendency to do, which is to start off really high, it'd be a long time for me to develop a relationship with her to decide if I want to move up. So Substack actually helps, I think, coaches learn how to sell at a lower price, evolve, figure out who your people are, talk with them, use their language, help them communicate what is it that they really want, and help them understand what they really want. Because just like the guy who wants to lose 20 pounds doesn't realize that 20 pounds is possibly leading to a secure and happy life in his future and a family and everything. It's like, it's not just 20 pounds anymore. It's not just a six pack so that he can have fun at the beach. There's a whole future ahead of him if that's what he wants. So again, it really becomes a big deal that people start to understand your pricing is really about your offer. And that's why I stress offers. And that's why I also will stress, I typically don't build courses for people, because I've seen over 30 plus years, I've spent $500,000 on courses and programs and mentors and traveled to be coached one-on-one with all kinds, in also all sorts of industries. And for those of you who don't know, I mean, I've done well over $100 million. I'm responsible for at least $100 million plus, probably closer to $200 million in sales in the coaching industry. So I've been around, is what I'm saying. And with that in mind, what it really comes down to is the courses often won't communicate the proper, the point the coach is really trying to get across to you, because every person interprets the words differently. For instance, if I said bicep and then the other person says, no, my upper arm right here, well, it could mean two different things. Like bicep is like, oh, I've heard of it. I think it's a muscle. I just don't know which muscle it is. Versus your upper arm. Well, what part of your upper arm? Is it the back of your upper arm, the front of your... Okay, so the course does that too. It only has so many words or videos or whatever you can do. It really comes down to, this is what I do, I'm going to be doing in my paid levels here on Substack. Everything I do is live. So I basically am going to customize every single course for every single person who comes in, because it's live coaching to figure out what's your offer. And be forewarned, I've got some of my VIP clients aren't here right now, but I've got clients who will tell you they were about to start dropping F-bombs on me when I start asking, which means a lot in their offers. So it really comes down to, you really need to speak with the people. So when my first level paid, whatever, I don't even know what that's called. It's called the Vault. If you get into the Vault, it's like I think it's just $97 a year right now. Well, when I do that, I'm always going to want to get on a call with you and let's spend an hour. Let's talk about your offer. Let's see how you can communicate it. So you can now have a much better way of communicating to on all of your marketing, all your social media, all your bios. Everything can dramatically change when you understand how to communicate your offer and what it really is valued at. From there, It isn't a necessity. I was mentioning the brainwashing. I think I got sidetracked. Um, the brainwashing with the high ticket stuff, you don't have to jump straight to $5,000 and $10,000 price tags for your programs. Relax. Let's get some people, let's get you comfortable selling first. Let's get you comfortable communicating first. And let's get you in your heart and in your mind, I'm going to change people's lives with this. It's worth well more than X, whatever it is you're going to charge. Like many people are charging like $5 or $25. And I'm all for that. Yeah, great. Jen, exactly. Last thing I want is another course library. That's why I have been told multiple times by all the coaches that I've worked with over the years. I've been a sales coach for their sales teams and for some of their coaches. Like I taught sales coaching, taught them marketing way back in the day. Ultimately, it comes down to, this is what I get yelled at on a regular basis, including by the big name person who just did a massive book launch last year, who agrees with me and disagrees with me. Scaling. I will say this on a regular basis. Scaling is failing. If you're just starting off, quit worrying about scaling. You got to do groups, man. You got to do the course. Then you do a group call and you get everybody on there at once. And then you just teach everybody once. And that's how you deliver. And then ultimately it comes down to, so here's a secret from inside a mastermind with a couple bigger name people who now are, some aren't online anymore, or some aren't visible online anymore. I sat there and I told them I want to do all one-on-ones because I get much better results. When I taught martial arts, when I did one-on-one personal training, I got tremendous results for people. Tremendous. I do the same thing in business. Well, yeah, but you can't scale that. You're absolutely right. I can't. But my clients get results better than your clients because you have a bunch of testimonies from people who are already succeeding before they got involved. You have testimonies from people. Oh, by the way, these are secrets from the inside. A lot of these people, when they have big name testimonies, they're not an actual client. If you read the testimony real careful, there's nothing that they didn't do anything. They're just telling you the person's really good. One, because that coach possibly joined their coaching program and spent up to $300,000, $350,000 for the one I'll tell you about. And then that guru now is your testimony. So, oh, he must be good if this guru is a testimony for him. Well, he's a testimony for him. One of the reasons they did it was because you're in the same room with the high ticket names, and the high ticket names all give each other testimonies. Why? Because it makes their products sell too. Here's the problem. You're sitting in that room and you tell them, but how many of your clients are actually getting results? Doesn't matter. It's up to them to get the results. Well, how do they get the results if they're not really taught what the value is? How do they communicate their value? How do they learn how to sell? I give them courses. Well, okay, but the courses apparently aren't enough. So why not spend a little bit more time with them? No, I don't have time with that. I can't scale. So you see the whole coaching industry has become, I'm not a fan. I'm a coach. I'm a coach to many of the coaches that you may actually know some names from, some that run agencies now. But I'm big into doing one-on-one stuff. And the one-on-one stuff is what's going to help you learn how to create your offer, how to price your offer, how to learn how to communicate that offer, how to market your offer, how to sell. And that's all within the first, by the way, that's the paid level of my thing. That's the first thing. I make sure I sit down. Everybody has a live one-on-one. We sit and talk. But the other stuff for the $97, which is ridiculously low priced, I'm going to jack that price up to $297 just as a heads up. I don't know when. Don't worry. I'm not pushing for numbers. But I'm also going to do a live like 2 and 3 hour workshop every month for people just to teach, just hardcore teaching, no pitching, no nothing, just teach. Oh, do you ever notice that too? Everything that someone teaches, it's free or it's $27. And then you find out the $27, $47, $97 5-day challenge is actually a massive sales pitch that doesn't actually teach you anything. I'll expose all that for you too. I'll teach you what they're actually doing. They're actually handling objections for 4 days and then pitching you. So all stuff to be aware of, all stuff I want you to all be aware of. I want to expose the industry because I also want to turn it around. I want people to start getting results. And I don't want you to have to spend $10,000 to get results because you just don't need it. I get that I'm not going to scale to maybe 1,000 people a month. That's not, my goal is I'd rather help people. again, some of those gurus I sat with, especially when they're drinking and we're sitting around after the events and they're talking, I talked to them about scaling. I said, what about your clients getting results? Oh, I don't care as long as I, close more sales. Well, don't you want your clients? Yeah, they get results. I get plenty of testimonies. Okay, but if you did more, well, a lot of them will turn around and say, yeah, I want my clients to get results, but, and then they go right back to talking about getting more numbers and marketing and getting more people in the door. No one ever discusses that these things, how do we deliver more value? Anyway, these things, meaning somebody's behind the scenes at events, like at big speaking events. So again, I'm not making any friends by putting this stuff out. It's only because I got old enough and angry enough, and I just don't pretty much care anymore. So I've already called my cousin Guido and Vito. I got them on high alert just in case I start getting threats again. That's another set of stories I'll have to tell you about one day. But look, when it comes back down to pricing, it's a nightmare for people. The biggest thing for you all to remember, if you want to do a small cohort or a live event, and the best thing for you to do is to do it. Schedule it, do it, put it up, market it. And if no one shows up, doesn't matter. Do it anyways. If you want to do it and practice selling, even if you charge $5 and it's worth $5,000, doesn't matter. Charge $5 and as long as you get it done. I did that with a guy who teaches hockey. He teaches the mindset. He's a certified psychologist, teaches mindset to hockey players up in Canada. And he turned around and made like 21 sales in a matter of, like, it was cheap. It was $25. And he could have charged a lot more than that, but he made like 21 sales in a day, but he hadn't made any sales in a year and a half. He said, oh, I charge more than that. Okay, but you didn't make any sales in a year and a half. I got you to do something for 3 days, 3 little sessions, $25 a piece. You make 21 sales. His confidence skyrocketed because now he understood and he saw the results he was getting and everybody was happy. So for yourself, put your offer out there, even if it's not smoothed out yet. Have a conversation at the end of your event. Talk to people. If you've got the time, I realize a lot of us are working a lot of you guys are working 9 to 5s or longer. But if you have the time, take phone calls, set up a group call if you have to, but take the questions, do Q&A, help yourself learn what your people want so you can communicate with them even better. Let me catch up on the chat here. This is why I finally, so I'm going backwards. I skipped over Tracy. I started with higher ticket, like you were talking about, it was so Tracy was saying it was stressful. Jenny loved lives. Jen said no more course library. I haven't launched the paid subscriptions here on Substack, learning the best strategy that works for me and my clients. So Jen, I'm not sure what you teach, but the best strategy so far for anybody selling anything is if you have if you have an offer, what is that offer you can do? If you can sell it as a cohort. So let's say you're going to do your first paid level is going to be $97 a year or $60 a year. It doesn't matter. It's your first paid level and you're starting and you build from there. So let's say you do a 5-day challenge for whatever it is. Now you're doing mic drop mastery. So I'm assuming you might do something with speaking based on the term mic drop mastery, Jen. So if that's the case, maybe you do a 3-day or 5-day course over a period of 5 days, like an hour at a time or 45 minutes at a time. And you're teaching people how to become a better speaker, how to put their signature talk together as an example. And you would charge normally $297 for that or $197 for it. But you can get it for free if you join my paid membership for $60 a year. And plus that, you also get paid posts and a live workshop every once in a while, like maybe once a quarter. They can maybe get in my case, I do live calls, I do a live coaching. So Tracy, Jen, that's, you can offer a course or a program or something where you're actually coaching people, preferably that you're talking to them live so you can get some feedback. So you're not just creating a course. And the sale, the best way I've seen it's happened for me for the 10 or 15 people that I've joined on Substack in the last 2 months that I've paid is they offer some offer. And I think the offer is pretty cool. So I was like, oh, I get it for joining the year-long program. So cool. I'll get the other benefit too. So the paid program is actually like a course, like a program, like something you can offer, but at a higher value and deliver a tremendous value for like a week. And then the people who come in can get the recording of it, but then you always have that to be able to offer. So that's one way to do the paid version of it. Like for mine, there's always going to be live coaching with me at $97 a year, or at my next level up where I get really serious about helping people. I don't, that's my VIP. I have a couple clients that do that. I'm very picky about that, but it's still really, it's a specific offer. And then the paid subscription side of it is it's almost like it's a bonus. The paid subscription's an extra. So Jen, I hope that helps. I'm not sure if it does. And by the way, anybody who has any questions off of this live, or you catch it, the replay, please feel free to DM me. I have no problems getting on Zoom with people and talking to you about, some of the basics that you might have heard about today. Patrick had to go, so I probably missed him. Tracy, I learned so much today on my call. From Tracy's call. Okay, yeah, I was on a call with Tracy today. It was her call, by the way, not mine. So it was her group. Podcast monetization and launch. Oh, Jen, that's perfect. So I worked with some people who taught people how to do podcasts. Yeah, so that'd be great. How to set up a podcast, how to start the podcast. Well, what is a podcast? Some people, why is a podcast so valuable? How to set up the podcast. Do I have to, like in my case, I'm not a big fan of Apple products, as an example. So do I have to be on Apple Music? Is that a good thing? Is it a bad thing? Can I issue Spotify? All of those things can be taught, and say you do them live, and have people do a Q&A interactive. And like I said, I guarantee you probably have, if you've done anything like this before, I guarantee you could probably charge, whatever you want. I don't want to put prices in there, but $97 or $200. And that's just for the event that you can teach, and they can do Q&A with you. But then they also get, in your paid subscription, they'll get paid only subscriber posts, and they'll get paid only subscriber chat, and paid only subscriber live videos, and other webinars that you might want to do, or other educational events that you might want to do throughout the year. So you could use one specific offer. You're going to hear some dogs barking now. You're going to have one specific offer that will allow people to get introduced to your membership. And then that membership will be, it's like almost like the paid subscription is a secondary part of it. So I hope that helps. Jen, you're welcome. And like what people are interested in learning. Yeah. So anyways, bottom line is I'm over 30 minutes right now. I wanted to just get the idea of some of the pricing out, because I'm writing 2 articles on pricing. It's actually going to be like 2 mini courses. I'm writing an article for pricing for another newsletter, another Substack person has asked me to write about pricing for them. And I'm going to write one for myself too, where I'll be telling a little bit of some of these stories inside of that. So it's probably going to be pretty long, but it will be very educational on helping people go step by step, helping them really get their offer together and put a price together. The biggest thing with your price, as long as you are delivering the value to what you're selling more than what the person is paying, then it becomes a no-brainer offer. I will give you a last example. It's my favorite example. I write about it often, and I will talk about it often. I used to teach real estate investing too, about 26 years ago. And I worked with a company was starting, and they were trying to do a $500 course. And this is when real estate investing on TV infomercials was very popular. The TV infomercials were selling things for like $49 and $149. And you get this course in the mail. Well, these guys were selling a $500 product, and they thought they couldn't sell it because it was $500. And the infomercials were on TV all the time. And bottom line is, when I taught them the value of what they were really delivering, they didn't know how to package it right. It ended up being a $5,000 package, and I closed the sales for them. And I was closing 21 $5,000 sales every month, month after month after month. So we 10x'd their offer, because once they realized what it was worth $5,000, not $500. And the sales were so no brainer. I will teach you, when you do the offer the right way. We did a 2-hour presentation, and we made an offer. We told people By the way, this was no emails, no websites. This is pre-internet for any of us. It was just the year 2000. It's not like the internet didn't exist, but I'm just explaining that to you. We ran ads on a radio station, one radio station, morning drive only. This is a specific niche. We ran it in one city only. We made one offer. And at the end of the presentation, we told people no credit cards. You have to bring cash or cashier. We prefer a cashier's check or a money order. It's $5,000. It's not $49.95. It's not $4,997. It's $5,000 even. If the other three don't, and we would say this, I would do this to be sort of funny and sort of hard at the same time. If the extra $3 actually impacts your choice to work with us, you should not be working with us. So those are the kind of things we'd sort of make a joke about. We'd bring it up to people very, very intensely. I closed 21 sales a month because the presentation was so good. People never had to have a sales call. They just showed up with the money the next time they set up meetings. So it was, and that's the way I sort of sell now. I have much more of a straightforward approach. Like, I really want you to get to know who I am, what I do. Am I any good at it? Can I actually help you coach first before you start investing big money with me? Big money, by the way, is not the $10,000 stuff. I'm really doing my best to not do the $10,000 and $25,000 and $55,000 sales anymore, because I just don't think, I think I can commit. I want to help more people. But you'll see when I talk, I'd rather you get to all of you should be in the same position. Don't be in a rush to sell. Let people get to know you. Let them see what your value is. Present that offer as much as you can. Offer meaning teaching them. Then when you have an actual offer, like Jen's possibly going to do a mini course or a webinar or a presentation or a 5-day challenge on podcasting. That's a great way for people to get to know you and understand and love what you're doing. It's like, yeah, I want more. So that's when people raise their hand and say, yeah, let's go. How do I work with you some more? So that's sorry, I do not do well at talking and reading. I know reading is fundamental, but my brain doesn't work too well. I'm not a quick reader, so it takes me a second to read the message. Jen. Oh, Jen, I appreciate that. Thank you. So anyways, I'm going to wrap it up there. The big thing, like I said, I'm going to repeat, and I do repeat myself often on purpose to make sure it gets through so you don't get lost in all the other little stories. Your value is in your offer. Your offer is probably way more valuable than even you realize, because you possibly haven't learned how to communicate it really well and really deep so that the person goes, that's what I need. To the point where price is not the objection. It's the only objections that really ever occur is certainty. I'll give you the best sales lesson I can give you in the last 30 seconds. If the person is certain that your product is right for them or that you're the right person to help them, it's never price. It's never that they don't have time. It's the time thing becomes certainty of, will they commit to it? Like the workout schedules. Will they commit to it? That's the certainty. Will they finish the program? Will they do what they need to do to succeed? If they're certain they will get results, they will pay for it. The person who pays $600 a month to a personal trainer versus the person who pays $16,000 to get liposuction from a surgeon, they'll pay way more because they know with the liposuction, they will have in 24 hours the fat gone. They might not be, the healthier version of them, but they pay for what they know the certainty is. So be aware of that. So that's why your Substacks are so important. That's why your free Substack is important. The paid versions will help to get to the next level, and then whatever your offers are. But it's always your offer first. Learn to communicate your offer. Then the price will almost never be a concern once people understand the value, once you understand the value and you can communicate that to other people. That's it for today, folks. Went a lot longer than I expected. And I appreciate you all being here. Appreciate the comments and the people that were able to participate. Patrick, Tracy, Jen, thank you all for being here. And we'll talk to you soon. See you on the Substack planet. Take it easy.